Hey, college wrestling fans, it's JT1Wrestle in the house, and we have got a great guest today. He is a New Jersey native. He is also a two-time NCAA Division II All-American for Glenville State. Please welcome to the show, Gabe Onorato.
Thanks for having me. It's happy to be here.
Well, man, let's talk a little bit about that. As we said, two-time NCAA Division II All-American. You were a two-time Super Region finalist. We're talking about a very successful career full of a lot of accomplishments and credentials. What led you to all of that success at the college level?
So I think it'd be easy to go and talk about yeah, I did the extra workouts, woke up early, did late nights, had discipline with my diet, tried to just work hard and show up every day and do the best that I could. But a big thing for me in my life is my faith, and I have to give all the credit to God. Anything that I accomplished, that all came from Him. All the stuff that I was able to do to prepare, I want to give Him all the credit for that. That came from Him. And all throughout the last 2 years, I was praying every day just about my wrestling. And it brings me to one of my favorite verses, which is Mark 11:24. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe you have received it and it will be yours. And I saw that come to fruition in my life these last 2 years. I prayed to be an All American. And, I was praying to be a national champ as well. Maybe I just didn't do the right things to get it done. But I mean, I think I came pretty close. Um, and I'm still super proud of it, and I don't leave with any regrets. The only regrets that I have is I wish that maybe I'd have been in Glenville State for longer than 2 years. I grew so much as a person and as a wrestler, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity here. And I just wish I had a couple more years to do it.
I'm kind of curious now that you say that. Another wrestler that uses that exact same scripture that you just quoted right there is Brandon Slay. He said that a lot after he won a gold medal at the Olympics. I'm curious to know, were you aware that's also one of Brandon Slay's favorite
I
verses?
didn't know that about Coach Slay, but I do know Coach Slay personally. All throughout high school, and then when I was at Drexel, he was the head coach of the PRTC over at Penn and Drexel. So I'd see him all the time, and he'd always talk about his faith and everything. But that's interesting. I didn't know that that was his chosen Bible verse. I have it. We got this bottle at Nationals, right? Mine's written right on there, Bible verse right there. That's kind of what carried me through.
Yeah, I just as soon as you said that, he immediately popped into my mind. I used to get those magazines all the time when I was a kid. I subscribed to Amateur Wrestling News, Wrestling International News magazine, and after he won the gold medal, there were ads. They had like ads in the every couple of pages, and that was I just remember that. I mean, it might not be that exact verse, but that it was very
Yeah, yeah.
similar to
There's other
something,
verses that
you
kind of say
know.
the same thing in the
Yeah.
Bible. Yep,
So
yep.
if it's he might get back and be like he might watch this and say like, well, that's not the exact verse, but it's something very similar.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
another thing I wanted to talk to you about, Gabe, is not only do you get it done on the mat, you're getting it done in the classroom too. You are also a scholar All-American. Talk to me about balancing your schoolwork with wrestling and being able to be successful in both areas.
So I think that all really stems from my parents. They set that standard for me from the time that I was a kid. Like the expectation was you're in school, or not even just school, everything that you do in your life, you're gonna put your all into it and try to be the best that you can be. The expectation was you're in school, you're gonna get all A's. So from a young age, right? I wanted to go do stuff on the weekend, hang out with friends, whatever. And I had to come home and do my homework, study, make sure I was getting good grades. And, once I got to high school, I kept bringing that with me and I carried it with me all through college. Like in high school, I graduated as salutatorian of my high school. I graduated Drexel with a 3.93 GPA. And then in 2 weeks here, I'll graduate from Glenville with my grad degree with a 4.0. But that's all from my parents. I mean, they just helped me get ready to do that. But even on top of balancing school and wrestling, my entire time that I've been a collegiate wrestler, I've also worked a part-time job in season and out of season.
Wow.
So at Drexel, they have these things called co-ops, which is like a 6-month internship to kind of build your resume, get you prepared for the world after school. that company that I worked for was a property management company. They kept me on part time during the wrestling year, so I did that for a while. And then I had a few other like internships throughout my time at Drexel that I did during the season. And then when I got here, I was like, I kind of want to be able to make some money. So I became a substitute teacher. So I'm a
Oh
substitute
wow.
teacher while doing school full time and wrestling, and I did it all throughout these last 2 years while I was here.
This interview is about you, not about me, but I got to share with you. I did substitute teaching for 4 years. And it was an experience. Eventually I ended up getting another job with better benefits, better money, so I went that route instead. But it was a I'm sure that you and I could exchange some really fun substitute teaching stories. I got to share a real fun, quick one with you. See if I can't get a laugh out of you about this. So, I don't know how it works now because I did it back from, let's see here, I did it in 2010, 2011, and then again in 2014 and 2015. And the way that it worked back then is you got online, you typed in your credentials, and then they had like a list of all the things for the day or for the week.
Hmm.
So I would just be like, I never taught at this school before, so I'll pick this school. So I did a music teacher thing one day. And when I got to the school, you get there, an hour, hour and a half early and start preparing for the day. He had in his lesson plans that he wanted me to play the piano for choir practice. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, "Oh my God, dude, I can't keep time on a triangle, let alone trying to, play a piano." So I went into the principal's office and I said, "Hey," I said, "I didn't realize you wanted someone, I mean, that knew how to do this." I said, I said, "Man, I can't read music. I can't, I can kind of keep time on a drum and that's it." And he looked at me and laughed and said that the music teacher was always playing ribs and jokes on people all the time. He said, "All you got," he said, "it's just study hall all day. Don't worry about it." I remember being so scared that like I,
Oh
had no
man,
idea how to play piano, so I got a kick
that's
out of
awesome.
that.
That's a good one.
Now, I also want to ask you about this real quick too. Not only was it Gabe Onorato that was successful at Glenville State, your entire team. I mean, both looking at it from a wrestling standpoint, you guys, Glenville State, one of the best teams in NCAA Division II, and you also, as a team, had one of the highest GPAs, not only for NCAA Division II, but for the entire world of college wrestling. Talk to me about the atmosphere and the environment of what makes you guys so good on both the mat and in the classroom as a whole.
I think again that says a lot about what kind of a coach that Coach Cottrell is. Man, I mean, he's gonna set the standard. He lets guys know this is the expectation. Like you're gonna show up, you're gonna go to class every day, get your assignments done, make sure that is the number one priority, right? Because you're in college to get an education. I know a lot of guys say I'm in college to wrestle. I just do school because I have to, and that may be true for some. But hey, man, if you're gonna do it, you might as well get it done the right way. Um, but yeah, he just has always had guys ready, and like he brings in hammers, but they get better when they're here. I mean, I felt like I was pretty good, during my time at Drexel, and I came here and I was like, I'm a D1 guy. I'm probably just gonna dominate through D2. I was like, because everybody kind of has that mindset from D1 and then looking down on everybody else, and that's not the case. There's some real hammers here, but yeah, like you look at Glenville State every year, they outperform what they're expected to do just about every single time. And I think that has a lot to do with him. Like you're going to take your lumps and losses throughout the season, but that's kind of what he wants. He wants us to, if we're going to lose, go ahead and lose because that's when you really learn what's working, what's not working, what needs to change. And he does such a great job at sitting down with guys and doing individual workouts or reviewing film and going over that and building off of it. And every year he has guys peaked for the end of the season. I mean, last year, me and our 125 pounder Colton Drucius went unseeded into nationals and both All American. Right,
Yeah.
we beat guys that we had lost to earlier in the season, in the blood round to become All Americans, and then you look at this year, we were not seeded to win the region back to back, but somehow we found a way, got it done. We wrestled great that weekend. And then at nationals, we had the best finish we've ever had as a team this year. Another national finalist, tying our program record from last year with 4 All-Americans. Um, he just does a great job, man. Like it's a lot of like, yeah, the guys show up and put the work in, but he is at the forefront all of it, leading and not just telling us what to do. He gets on the mat and wrestles with us every day. He gets guys ready.
Now, you did start your career off at Drexel. You talked a little bit about that already. Talk to me about the differences between being at Drexel and being at Glenville State, and then also having your eyes opened up to the fact that, hey, D2 wrestling is extremely tough as well.
Yeah, so the way I ended up at Drexel, I knew I wanted to wrestle in college, right? I still played football at the same time, but once I started having success kind of early, right? I was an NHSCA All-American. I was qualifying for the New Jersey State tournament. I haven't medaled yet, headed into my senior year. Knew I wanted to wrestle, and I was taking official visits, but then I broke my leg playing football my senior year. So schools kind of backed away from me, like, oh, we don't know if he's going to be able to come back from that. Like I had to have same day surgery
Ugh.
to put a rod in the middle of my bone, screws in my ankle and my knee. Like it was rough. So schools backed away from me. The only one that was still giving me a chance was Coach Azevedo at Drexel. And I had known him for years through going to the PRTC, but he was like one of the few schools that even gave me an offer for some athletic scholarship. And so I ended up taking fifth my senior year in the Jersey States, and I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to go, and like super close to home. I live 30 minutes from Drexel, so it was perfect. And I enjoyed my time there. I think it was good for me. I developed a lot in my wrestling. I got a lot better. I think Coach Azevedo is an amazing coach, super technical, like a technical genius when it comes to wrestling. He really knows his stuff. But I didn't really think that I was kind of getting the right opportunities there. When you wrestle, you want to be the guy. You don't want to be going to opens every weekend, which was a lot of what I was doing, or traveling, making weight, and then not wrestling. So I did what I could. I graduated early, um, and I got into the portal like before the season was even over. My last year at Drexel, and I had a lot of schools reaching out, but the one thing that stayed constant, right? I took all my visits and everything was Coach Cottrell. He was, texting me every week, calling me, checking in, letting me know how his team was doing and everything. And he really showed that, he wanted me here. He wanted me to come and be the guy. And that's what I really wanted from my career, was someone that wanted to invest in just me, right? Like it's important as a coach to build a roster, but he showed me and told me like, you're going to be the guy, like come be the guy here. Um, I came on a visit to Glenville, and I'm used to being in the suburbs of New Jersey or the big city in Philadelphia. Come out here and you're like, this is completely different than anything I've known my entire life. I mean, mountains all around. It's You got to drive a little bit to get to a Walmart. Like things are not super close here, but came on my visit and I was like, I don't know. But he just kind of stayed on me, and that's what did it for me. He's the whole reason that I'm here, and man, I'm so thankful. I love it. I love it here so much. I feel like I've gotten so much better. But I would say the big difference that I've felt in the room is the training. And I think, not to slight Drexel by any means, they have their system and it works for them. I think here is just what worked really well for me. At Drexel, we didn't wrestle as much live, at least during my time there. Um, and when I come here, I mean, we're wrestling live pretty much every single day. We're competing, and I think that helps guys. Uh, you know, their reaction time speeds up. It makes them tougher because you just got to grit it out, even when you're not feeling good on those days. And something that I did a lot that I helped make it fun is I turned it into a competition with my teammates. Like we'd start talking trash to each other in the middle. Like, oh, I got you on that one, and that just kind of makes it fun to show up and wrestle live every day. But that's kind of been the big difference that I've noticed for me.
Yeah, I had Coach Cottrell on the show last year, and you just his passion and his energy levels are kind of contagious. Like I remember after having him on the show, I had him on, and as soon as the interview was over, it's like I was like, time to go to the gym,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like one of the things I loved about him is that in that particular season, I think you guys had three dual meets against D1 teams,
hmm
and that you won two of them, and then lost to Buffalo by like 1 point.
hmm
And his concentration was, it's like, yeah, we beat, I can't remember the teams you I trying to can't you think you beat
Morgan State was one of them. I know
Morgan
that.
State and Kent State were
Yeah.
the teams you beat, I think, if
I
I'm
don't
right.
think we wrestled Kent
It
State
wasn't it
last
wasn't
year.
Kent State. I'm trying to think of the other one was,
I do know we wrestled three though. Yeah.
but you lost to Buffalo like
hmm
1918 or
Yeah,
2019 or
super
something.
close.
And he was like, that's the one he wanted to concentrate on because he was telling me how he had some wrestlers that were injured or sick or something. And he just wanted that dual meet back so bad. So he's a really fun guy to talk to
Yeah,
because
that
he's
match was
so,
one of the ones that I was out for. I had an injury during
oh
that
yeah,
season, so I was out for a
yeah.
little bit.
Oh,
And,
shoot. Well,
yeah.
man, the last question I want to ask you about today is younger brother Roman is on gonna be a pioneer himself. Got some high expectations for Roman. Talk about him a little bit and what you're hoping happens during his time at Glenville State.
So he's headed into this will be his third year of college coming up, so he'll be a redshirt sophomore. Um, when I was at Drexel my senior year, he committed thinking I was still going to be there. And that was before the season started. I decided I wanted to leave, so he was already committed there. He went there for a year, did his redshirt season, went to all the opens and stuff, developed in a D1 room. And then I was like, come out here with me, man. Like you're gonna get better at wrestling, and that's what I want from him. I want him to grow into the best wrestler in person that he possibly can be, and I think this is the right place for anybody to do that. But he had a little rocky start to his season this year. You know, he was struggling a little bit, but then he found his way. He started getting some good matches and some good wins. And it comes to the end of the year, he's a 157 pounder, by the way, at the start of the season. And some injuries and stuff happen. Our lineup shuffles a little bit. Um, he's wrestling off for the spot at 174.
Oh, wow.
So he wins the spot at 174. And I mean, in Super Region 3, that weight was
Oh
stacked, right? You
gosh,
had Josh
yeah.
Kenny, Arlano, um, forget the West Lib guy's name. He was pretty tough. And there was like Sevi Garza. So you got those four dudes that are all, hammers in that weight class. And he's like, just all right, yeah. Let me get in there and try to find a way. And he battled, he wrestled tough. I think he had a close one with Garza, and then pin on the backside, lost in the Conti semis to the West Lib dude, and then ended up taking six. But I mean, his pin added team points for us that helped us win the region. So I was just proud of him for showing up undersized and still helping get the job done for the team. But what I really want for him, I just hope that, him being able to see my wrestling career and like the journey that I went through, hopefully that will show him, what he needs to do to be able to accomplish his goals. Or, I didn't really get exactly what I wanted, what not to do, right? What's not working, what is the right way to do it. And I want him to, be able to make the Honorado name a staple at Glenville State, and not only in Glenville State, but D2 wrestling scene, forever. And I hope he out accomplishes me. I hope that he's able to, be a national champ or, whatever he wants. But I'll say this at the end of the day, no matter how old or fat out of shape I get, I'll never let him beat me though.
That's an older brother for you. For the fans out there wondering, the name you're thinking of from West Liberty is Carter Weingarten.
Weingartner, yep,
Yeah, it
yep.
was one. But man, I didn't realize he was so undersized. I mean, Super Region 3, like you said, Arleano, Josh Kinney, Sevi Garza, very, very, very tough weight class. And to place top six when you're truly a 157 pounder at 174, that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I was super proud of him. I know he was frustrated with the result, but it's like, man, you went out there and battled with the best guys in the country at your weight, and kept all the matches close. Like he was in them, he had chances. It's just a little undersized, but I think it was good experience for him to be in that region tournament for the first time, because there's a lot of emotions that come with that day. I've seen the highest of highs and lowest of lows, and
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
break you or make you, you know?
That's so true. And I did say that was going to be my last question, but I thought of another one that's just kind of fun. I want to get your opinion on this. Teammate Nick Johnson, fellow All-American, he's going to play football next season.
Mhm.
What's your opinion on that? I just thought that was crazy.
I'm super happy for him, you know. The dude is an absolute freak athlete, super jacked and strong, and I think he's probably the fastest guy on the wrestling teams in terms of like if you just did a straight sprint, like he's winning it. He is super fast. Um, and I think he's just reliving the glory days, right? Everybody wishes they could go back and play football one more time or whatever sport they really loved when they were younger. And it's like he has the opportunity to do it, man. Take advantage of it. Like you're only an athlete for so long, and then you got to face the real world and like get a job and have a mortgage and all that crap. It's like, dude,
Okay.
have fun being an athlete and a college kid because that part of your life is so slim compared to everything else. He's also got it in his genes too. His cousin is the tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it runs in the family. I need to also shout out their running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Bayshul Tootin, was my high school teammate. He's their running back, Paulsboro, New Jersey. So I had to give them a quick shout out real quick.
Can be an awful small world sometimes, man. That's
Yeah,
for sure. Well, Gabe, I want to thank you for being a part of JT1 Wrestle today. It's been an honor and a privilege having you on the show. Uh, Life is whatever it has in store for you. I hope it's good and rewarding and successful, and as well as the rest of your future. So, thanks a lot for being a part of JT1 Wrestle today, and best of luck to you in the future.
thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
You bet.